All right, on to the narrative purpose of art. This one, for some reason, always gives people trouble, but don't make it harder than what it is. All you're doing is telling a story with pictures. So, narrative is telling stories, describing and illustrating experiences, communicating ideas and information, think journals, and documenting historical events. So, some good art history examples to look at if you want to go that route. Norman Rockwell is one of the biggest illustrators from the 70s, 80s. He would just take kind of everyday things and put a really nice illustrative spin on them. He did pictures like people hanging out at diners, like this basketball, kind of looks like an argument that's happening there. Cave art. One of the most simple, easiest ways to hit this requirement is if you drew some cave art. Cave art was a way of documenting stories. They would put stories up on the wall. They would put history where they found this animal, where they found this animal. That you would draw maps on there, so it was kind of hitting all those different parts of narrative, like I just discussed. Now, if you just took a piece of cave art and made a copy of it, again, that's not being creative and unique. But if you somehow found a way to tell your story through cave art, that would be creative and that would be original. Children's book illustrations. I always think it's really fun to take something from your childhood and put a different spin on it. So Rainbow Fish was one of my favorite books when I was younger. How could I reimagine Rainbow Fish? Could I change the colors? Could I change the environment? Another really cool thing to do is I love to take young adult fiction, so fiction that you guys like, and I like to draw the characters as they are written in the text. So I don't go from the movie version. I've done it with Harry Potter a lot. I just go from whatever the author says and draw my own version of it. So in that way, you are telling a story through pictures, but you've used somebody else's words, which I think is really cool. Japanese scrolls are really, really simple, but they are really effective in storytelling. Usually they're pictured in triptychs, which means they're pictured in threes, and they tell some sort of a progressive story. They usually have to do with nature. They're done with really simple, beautiful ink washes. I highly recommend looking at those. And of course, Renaissance artists. So people like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, they were always telling a story through their art. They were always telling maybe a biblical story, but it was represented through art. If you wanted to do the art therapy version of this, you could create a tattoo sleeve that is an autobiographical, yeah, that's right, of your life, the good and the bad. So you could use very symbolic imagery to represent different emotions and memories. So you kind of track your life through different symbols, and you could draw an arm and then figure out what the sleeve would look like. And then, of course, you have your own interpretation. Just tell a story through art, guys. Illustrate a story, tell a story, make some symbols, reimagine a story from your childhood. Have fun with it.